Well, I'll start everything out. I've been noticing a few people mention on the Gilded, not like in once, but in separate conversation, have had a lot of criticism about Eastern storytelling trope, particularly the trope that I've dubbed the cruise subgenre. So the cruise subgenre would be something like Cowboy Bebop, Black Lagoon,
Oh, okay.
all these shows where you have a group of characters on, maybe they don't, it doesn't have to be like a vessel, but they're all together.
Firefly count?
Yes,
Yeah.
in a sense, where they're all on this one eponymous ship or one eponymous goal, but there is no one overarching story. Usually it's a lot of isolated story arcs, and in the case of most anime that do not get to reach the end of their manga run, they'll only cover like a quarter of the manga. It just seems like it fizzles out and doesn't go anywhere. So I've heard a lot of people lately criticizing that type of storytelling, where I completely understand the criticisms. I mean, if you're building to a crescendo, reach that crescendo. But I kind of sometimes just like vibing to the crew members and just watching them interact and their little side quests they get into.
Yeah,
I think it's from the lack of conclusion.
Yeah, I've never really understood the Eastern style. It just doesn't resonate with me. I guess it's they're more character focused, I think. They're not really, I guess they don't have an overarching plot theme, whatever you want to call it. Thingamabob.
Yeah, I can see that. I personally like them because of the whole the Motley Crew aspect. I don't know, maybe it's the influence from Final Fantasy, because it's usually you get like a Motley Crew of characters in that game, or basically any JRPG. You end up in a Motley Crew of characters that have to save the world,
Yeah, but you're wrong.
Thank you, Gino.
Okay.
That was a joke. I'm joking.
Threw me off there.
Or not. I don't know.
No, it's I just, this is a subjective take on storytelling. Like, I personally just like the Motley Crew accomplishing goals, and yeah, it's kind of like episodic where it goes off. You can't focus on one character throughout the whole series, right? You have to break it up to the other characters. You have to dedicate episodes to your other characters and get them to go along and make it feel relevant. You can't just have this one character that does nothing. There's nothing about him. And I always thought that was weird with stuff like Naruto, or had hundreds of like 100 characters, literally 100 characters. And how can you focus that much time to all those characters to flesh them out to be like actual likable characters, knowable characters?
So it's kind of
great character balance was Burn Notice.
Yeah, I did like that series too. Because again, Motley Crue.
So in other words, it's sort of like Scooby-Doo, except we get a Velma storyline. Or no, excuse me, Daphne storyline.
Yeah, that'd be like an episode.
A little better. I was horrified there for a moment.
Look, a clue. Anyways.
Jinkies.
Zoinks!
But even back then, that was like a completely different era of writing, and Scooby-Doo is definitely a standalone little thing. Although those would be fun again, right? Bring back the Mystery Gang, like those mystery shows. There's that Jabberjaw, Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah, Jabberjaw.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other ones.
Who they didn't model at all after Rodney Dangerfield. No.
But you know what? They the thing is I remember when, because I was a kid when Scooby-Doo kind of came out, and then they resurrected it. I think later.
600 years old is a little bit more than a little kid,
but they resurrected it like in the 80s, and it wasn't the same. I don't know whether it was all the actors were the same, but it was like the storytelling wasn't the same, or the animation wasn't the same.
They use that really cheap, where they'd use like the same animation for like one show, and they just overlay it with the character designs.
Yeah,
that's what Stu did. A bunch of them shows are done on cheap.
That was
And there-
before tablets.
Yeah, and that was like something that was like, I mean, I know you look back, it was cheap, but it has that sort of nostalgia factor. But there was also
I'm
something
not
with the
shitting
writing.
on it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but there was also
Yeah.
something with the writing that just wasn't the same. There just was something missing. And
I
God,
don't think
you
I ever
bring it
watched the '80s ones, so
if you ever bring it back nowadays, holy crap! Well, they already did. with
they
Velma.
did with Velma.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We
right?
do not talk about that.
Updated for modern audiences.
Look at how many Hanna-Barbera shows tried to emulate the Scooby-Doo formula.
Oh yeah,
A group of
Yeah.
teenage kids, some kind of animal companion, or some kind of cartoonish
Yeah,
creature,
anthropomorphics.
Yeah.
and
Trippy.
usually a vehicle.
You know which one we're gonna
Remember
bring up?
Rubik's? You guys remember the cartoon show based on Rubik's Cube?
No.
No.
That was
rings a bell.
Hanna-Barbera.
Right
It was a
there?
Scooby-Doo
Jeez.
formula.
Hermit.
Well, that was the whole thing. It was all to sell toys back in the day. Now toys aren't really a thing. Now, ever since video games and the digital market and tablets and apps, toys aren't really a thing. They don't make TV shows to sell the toy product anymore.
Well,
They
I-
do,
I-
but they do
Yeah.
it to adults. They sell the electronics to kids, and the adults go, "Hey, I remember that. I want a figure of it on my shelf behind me."
Trippy.
Yeah.
You
We're the
remember
idiots that
the
buy
Mike
that crap.
Tyson one?
oh yeah, Mike
The one
Tyson.
that's actually.
The Mike Tyson Mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. They had an episode with Cormac McCarthy, and he's like a centaur or something. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so funny.
I think with
it's-
GI Joe and selling the toys, it got so ridiculous that they ended up passing laws that were like, no, you can't do that anymore.
Well, Alien, the first Alien movie had toys that they were going to make for it. They made for it, and then the parents got so pissed. They fucking went out there and they closed the whole line
Yeah, that's a
of like
scary
toys
movie.
for it.
But
Well, it's
don't
because
worry,
every
they
movie-
sold them for the sequel.
But like,
Well,
the
it's because they
Joe-
realized they could make a shit ton of fucking money on no matter what on toys. So that's
Well,
why
that
they
was
were just
kinda-
producing-
Yeah.
And you'd see that in the writing. Like the writing was, they had their little characters and stuff like that, but they had to emphasize the new. There's always like one piece of dialogue talk about the new thing on the car. That's the Ninja Turtle van or something like that. They emphasize that, and that's the thing that the kid wants to buy. Today they don't in writing. You don't need to emphasize that. So, but they're emphasizing something else, and it's
That's the
clearly
biggest.
freaking propaganda.
but like
That's the
G.I.
biggest
Joe's-
problem with Dragon Ball Super is why you got like 15,000 fucking transformation now. It's all to sell new merchandise toys.
Yeah, GI Joe
Yeah,
had like
actually makes
5
sense.
or
I noticed
6
They're doing more transformations now.
I think they had,
At
like,
some
5
point,
or
they're going to
6
go so
main
super duper saiyan, he's going to turn back into a kid.
characters. But G.I.
Wow.
Joe's
There was an
season-
opposite of that in GT, where he was wished into a kid, and then when he turned Super Saiyan 4, he turned into an adult.
Yeah, it was fun.